Okay, I think we're good to go now. We are live, y'all.
Okay. Okay, we're
Hello,
here.
everyone. We did it, Joe. I feel like every time I do this, there's always like some type of weird little situation going on. But that is technology. Hello, everyone. Hello on LinkedIn. I'm so excited to introduce this episode, which is the Tea on Talent Management. And if you're having a little bit of deja vu, it's literally because we were actually supposed to have this episode last month, but I had to reschedule it because I was damn near dead. I was really just sick, but I'm so glad to bring it back. And now that I'm feeling better and I have all my guests here, but this episode really came about because I feel like for the past year, so many people have asked me, mainly creators, about talent management, how to engage management, what does a relationship with an agent look like? And I'm just really not the best person to answer those questions. So I really wanted to bring in experts on the show to help bring that conversation to life. And that's what we're going to talk about. For those of you that don't know me, which shouldn't be the case because you're literally following me on LinkedIn, I am Jayde Powell. I am a social strategist and content creator and the host of Creator Tea Talk. And Creator Tea Talk is a series that I launched a couple of years ago to foster transparent conversations between creator economy professionals and then also creators and influencers. So the whole ethos of the show is about spilling the tea, being very transparent, being very open, having the opportunity to answer the questions that you've
Oh
always
my
wanted to
God. I
answer
guess
and
I'll
then
go
have experts
first.
give you the answer.
Okay,
So I'm
good.
so excited to
Hi,
welcome my
everyone.
panelists today. We have
I'm Jasmine
Anish, Tip,
Griffith.
and
I am a
Jasmine.
creator,
Please
been a
introduce
creator for the
yourselves
last
and tell
6 years, but
people
I've
who
been
you
working in the
are.
social and media industry for over 12 years, helping to
Let's go
manage some of
first. Yeah,
these
go, Jay.
creator relationships as well. And I create content on LinkedIn too around social listening. So I'm very excited to be on this panel with Jade and everyone else. Thanks.
Happy to have you
Amazing.
here, Jazz. Anish, you
Tip?
want to
You want a tip for me? Sorry.
go ahead, Anish?
Oh, cool. Hey, everybody. My name's Anish. I'm the founder of the Wishley Group. We run brand deals for 32 LinkedIn B2B creators, most of them top voices in sales, marketing, rev ops. We just crossed the $3 million earn mark for creators in the last 14 months. So we're really pumped about that and looking forward to seeing what's coming next. But so pumped to be with everyone here. Some amazing names on the screen here. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And last but not least, the Tiffany.
Thanks, the Jade. I'm Tiff Knighton. I'm the founder of Brand Curators. We're a boutique PR and brand management agency based in New York. We have a hybrid approach to talent management. So our approach is really build, amplify, monetize. We can get into that during our conversation. And we're not just publicists or agents. The way I like to look at it is that we are collaborators, we're strategists, we are fierce advocates and thought partners, and we're dedicated to amplifying diverse voices of Black, Brown, and queer creatives. I built Brand Curators in 2020 to really like bridge the gap between PR visibility and creator monetization. And so today we work with, a leading content monetization platform, a landmark New York City cultural institution, and a host of multi-hyphenate artists and creatorpreneurs like Jade.
There you
Neat.
go.
Well, I'm so excited to have you all today. I feel like this show is going to be so exciting because I really respect all of you and your authority and the spaces and the knowledge that you have. And I'm so excited to have you here sharing it with the people. I feel like in order to dive into this conversation, we first have to establish and set the tone with a kind of defining moment about what talent management actually is. I know with talent management, it can look
Yeah.
very different across industries, across spaces, and even the relationship between talent managers or agents with a creator or some type of creative professional
Yeah.
can look different depending on what the capacity of that engagement is. So I want all of you to kind of help me define
Yeah.
talent management. What is it? How does it differ as it relates to the creator economy
I'll go
or
ahead. Go
other
ahead.
industries? And then
I
more
was gonna say
specifically, how does it differ for LinkedIn since we
I was
are
gonna
in
say
LinkedIn?
I'm coming from a
Yeah.
creator perspective. I
Who
think
wants to
the
take it?
definition has definitely evolved. I think when I first
I
got
go.
into the creator space
Jazz, you
and
go.
I
Yeah,
saw what
we're
talent
all so
management,
polite.
what I
Go,
thought it was
Jazz,
I
you
supposed to
go.
be,
know.
I think it was very cutthroat. It
Go
was more so like, hey, we bring you deals,
ahead.
we'll manage your inbox, have a nice day. But as I've learned this industry a little bit more and as I have evolved as a creator, I'm like, no, it's kind of a little bit more than that. And I think Tiff, you kind of brought it up like, no, I want you to be the strategist for me. Like if I'm out of the loop for a month because I'm not creatively there, I want us to be able to have a conversation where it's like, okay, this is what I think we can kind of do. I want to be able to strategize that. I want you also to kind of be my partner, where it's in a sense of it's not just brand deals. It's what does that look like on LinkedIn? It's speaking engagements, going to Cannes. Is it you writing a book? Is it you coming out with a newsletter, a digital product? So, now when I look at it as a talent manager, I want you to kind of be my friend and my partner, but it's kind of hard because talent managers do have multiple people on their roster. So it's kind of like, how personal can I get with you? But I know it's possible because when I see certain creators like you, Jade, or even like Clark, they're very close with their talent managers and they just kind of almost know them. I know that you like to eat sushi. I know that you like to travel here. I know you love a Rimowa bag. So it's kind of like, I'm going to automatically pitch you when I see you post a piece of content. Or I saw that you said that you was going on a trip. Okay, so I went ahead and just talked to these brands at these hotels for you to go, those type of things. So that's how I define a talent manager for myself now, as like from the creator perspective.
Yeah,
Right.
love that. What about you, Anish?
Yeah, so the way I see it depends on the platform we're on. So I've noticed on like YouTube, for example, the size of creators are a lot different. It's a lot more established. LinkedIn's still in its infancy, I think, when it comes to the creator economy. So when you look at like Meta and YouTube, they have like full out teams for everything. There's a talent manager that sort of quarterbacks everything, and then you also have agent like separate. So the talent manager on those platforms is the person that's like the strategy and the quarterback and like where do we spend our time? Does this make sense? The agent's the person going to get deals, and you have like a whole bunch of other teams that get involved. On LinkedIn, I'd say the role is like everything in one. I'm legit the conciliary, the talent person, the agent person, the the psychic sometimes, the therapist sometimes. Like you guys with LinkedIn right now, it's so early stages that you're playing all these roles in one. And then eventually you start branching out saying, okay, what am I good at? What am I not so good at? And then you build around that as you're scaling your company. But to the creator, we need to be all those things at different times of the week. Just depends what's going on.
I love that, Anish. I definitely agree that we wear a lot of different hats. And some of the words that come to mind for me are a few that kind of floated around, just answering this question, which are just being like accountability, being the advocate, and being in strategy, having that strategy. I think that managing talent for us has gone beyond just making sure that you're getting these opportunities and kind
Yeah.
of moving things along, but really co-creating your business with you around your personal brand. So that's why I mentioned multi-hyphenate creatives. A lot of times we're kind of coming in and you have a lot of different things about yourself that you want to translate to your online brand and into monetization, right, into deals. And so a lot of times with platforms like LinkedIn, we're able to take that multi hyphenate, multi passionate creator and translate that influence into thought leadership and really build like long term partnerships that align with your values.
Yeah, one of the things that has been interesting across all three of your responses is that there seems to be this level of intimacy that has been created
Yeah.
between the creator and the agent or the manager. And it's very involved. Like it's almost like it kind of goes beyond just the work, and there's a little bit of like personal elements
Mhm.
that kind of intermix in that relationship. So I'm curious, like with that in mind, I'm sure there's like a lot of boundaries that have to be established, but like when you are thinking about even engaging a creator
Mhm.
or talent, like are there things that you specifically look for that could signal that this could be a healthy or beneficial relationship for both of us? Because we do believe in reciprocity over here. It's not just for the creator to benefit, it should be for the talent manager or agent to benefit as well.
Yeah, we have a 3C framework that we look at to bring in the right talent for Wishly. So even to get onto the Wishly roster, you have to be referred by someone on Wishly to
Mm,
get in. And then there's so many other things that we look for, but the big ones are the 3Cs. So how are you from a credibility standpoint? Do you know your craft? Like Jade is like, I know Jade knows social media better than most people out there. Yeah, 100% like credible in that.
Yeah.
Character is another one. How are you when you're off stage behind when there's no
Love
cameras?
that.
Are you Are you rude to people? Are you an abundance mindset or transactional person? Those things
Mm-hmm.
matter in the character side. How are you after you have a few drinks? Are you a type of person that I can not only respect but put in front of a brand? Like I've seen some
Mm-hmm.
terrible things when people, we've all been there,
Yeah.
right? And then the third one's charisma. Do you have the ability? You might be really good at what you do. You might be a really good person, but do you have the ability to retain and attract attention? And that's a big part of being a creator and
I'm gonna have to
influencer.
use
You
that
have
for
to be able to do those
myself.
things. So those are
The
three
three
things I
C's.
objectively like try to score for. That plus the referral with our Wishly
Yes.
creators is usually what we go for on our side.
Beautiful. What about
Yeah.
Take it. That's for everybody.
Oh,
Take it all.
please.
The
Take
three
it all.
C's.
especially the Riz part? You say you got to have charisma.
I have
You
the
gotta
Riz.
have
That's
Riz.
why I'm behind the camera, folks. This is why I'm like, I'm
Oh,
on.
please,
I'm
Anish.
the support.
You
I'm the
know it.
support, y'all. This is
All
You
why.
better you
the
better take them flowers,
Anish
Anish.
is, if you don't know Anish, he is full of Riz, and he's not just behind the
I
scenes.
appreciate
He's
that.
on stages these days, and
Stop
it's
it. Stop it,
for
y'all.
good reason because that was a bar.
I'm gonna take him. I'll take him now. This is nice. This is
Yeah,
nice.
I actually learn a lot from
Can't we do this
Anish.
weekly?
Yes, but I do learn a lot from you two, Anish, just since we've been in each other's orbit. So I
Yeah.
really love spaces like this because I just a side note, I've just seen the level of attention that you give the creators that you work with, and
Right.
I've just noticed that and have been like, that's really
Yeah.
great to kind of the fact that you are the very attentive, talent manager that they really need. But I couldn't agree with that more because our brands are on the line, our reputations are on the line as
Mhm.
well. And I've worked with a lot of different types of creators, and I'm at a point where, the more I work with different creators, the more I have a clear sense of what fits in. With our roster, a lot of the alignment really comes from people who are pretty open for me and ambitious. I love working with like ambitious creatorpreneurs who are just down to try different things and really trust our judgment. Like we're putting
Mhm.
together a whole strategic brand plan for you based on like research, based on goals, like based on all these things. And so just being able to say, hey, I'm ready to take the risk, just being in that
Yeah.
position to go for it means a lot.
Yeah.
And especially being like clear on your purpose and your value. You might not have
Yeah.
everything. Listen, we don't all have everything figured out and planned out,
No.
but if you just have a clear vision, we kind of need that so that we can be thought partners together, not just your admin support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you all said that. Like, I feel like the relationship piece is like the key thing that keeps ringing in my head. Like, it literally feels like almost like a romantic relationship. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
have expectations on both sides. We have these things that we're looking for in a person, and in order to come together, we
Yeah.
have to make sure those needs are met. Jazz, I'm curious for you, as from someone who is the creator, coming from your perspective. Well, one, how did you
Yeah,
kind of like
I talked
know
about
that
this
you
on a
were ready
podcast
for
like
a
a couple of
manager?
years
And
ago, but
then
when I first
you started
started
searching for
creating
one,
content, I
did
feel
you
like I
feel
was
like the
thirsty for
expectations that
management
you
because it
had
felt like
matched
it
the
was a cool
reality
thing at
of
the moment. And this was like
the relationship?
2021. Like I probably haven't maybe even hit 100K in like brand deals yet, but I was thirsty for management because the girls were getting management. The Kensington Grays was new and it was like, oh, okay, LinkedIn wasn't around,
Mm.
right? And so I got management and I was like, I'm not ready for management. And so a couple years went by and my inbox started flooding. I started creating different kind of content. I started kind of exploring different type of
Right.
platforms and I made like I couldn't even imagine the money that I made. I was like, I made this off of brand deals, also working as a corporate job, but I really couldn't manage my inbox. I couldn't manage sending invoices. I couldn't manage. So I was like, okay, let me reach out to talent managers. And so in the end, none of them ever worked out because I think Anish, you made this point of like transactional. Like I 100% understand this is a business, like 100%, but it can't always feel transactional. I feel like you have to be able to empower one another, and I feel like I never got that. And so for me, now that I think about it now, I'm like just listening to you guys, I'm like, if I was to kind of get a talent manager, it's also going to be looking at the three C's as well, like because those things are important. And I feel like when you have somebody to match your energy, like Tiff and Jade, I've seen you guys in person at Creative Economy. I'm like, you guys are like best friends. You gel. Like I didn't even know you guys were doing business together. I'm like, okay, I thought that was her girl. Like you,
100%.
yes, they gel. It's like Yes, and that works because then at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you're both making money and you're happy
Yeah,
while
no, it's
doing
the
it.
best.
And
These
you're
two
not like
together,
calling her like, "Hey, did you do et
incredible.
cetera?" It's
It
just a
makes me
natural
smile
flow
every
of
time I see it.
conversation. And so that's what kind
It's
of made me
so
feel
good.
like I needed, talent management, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And that's all I want. That's all the energy I want. Because, like you said, on both sides,
Hmm.
when you're, was saying this earlier to you too, Jazz,
Yeah.
that like we're just
100%.
having fun with it. And I think once you have that level of
Yeah.
trust, anticipation,
Yeah.
a really deep relationship, then the rest just kind of comes,
Absolutely.
right? So it never has to feel
Yeah.
transactional. Kind of like a when you're doing what you love, it's not a job type of sentiment.
yeah, and for any creators listening there, and you're wondering, besides the feeling of like, am I
Yeah.
leaving money on the table? Let's say you are pursuing your own deals. A couple things I've coached folks on because we have a lot of I get a lot of creators reaching out for representation. I'm like, you don't need me yet. Like,
Mhm.
we have 25 people on the wait list. I've told them like, you don't actually need this right now. You
Mhm.
need to keep track of a few metrics in your sales cycle, right? First of all, what kind of brands are coming to you inbound?
Mhm.
If you're getting strong brands like the big ones, like the Typeforms, the HubSpots, like the big Notions, like if they're coming to you, your content's doing the right thing. If you're only getting people that no one's ever heard about, you have a content issue, not a deal flow issue. Now, sometimes a manager can help with that,
Mhm.
but usually managers are going to help amplify the baseline, right? Like there is something to be said about your existing baseline before a manager comes in. The second thing you want to look for is the number of like how long does it take for you to close a deal? If it's taking you 3 months to close a $2,000 one post deal, there's an issue. All right. The third thing is you also want to take a look at your win rate. So the number of deals that come in, qualified leads, how many of them are you actually winning? If that
Mhm.
number from an inbound perspective is less than 40%, you're leaving money on the table. So there's a skill involved in closing
That's such
deals
a
and
good point.
selling and prospecting and all those things. But these are some of the metrics to keep in mind on sales cycle and all those types of things before you go out and look for a talent manager.
Yeah. And very much a good point. Anish, you kind of already
You fine?
hit on this a little bit, but I want to hear from everyone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jasmine, you were kind of speaking to the fact earlier about like when you first started. Oh, excuse
Hmm.
me, let me.
Yeah.
You were mentioning that you kind of love the idea of having talent management because that's what it seemed like the internal thing to do at the
I think
time,
I
and
think it's
not
a
having
couple of
that
things. Like for me
employee
also, and I didn't
commitment.
include this
So
earlier,
when
is
do you
like
feel like a
I
creator
was
is
scared
actually ready
of
for talent management?
negotiating.
Tiff,
I still am
I
to
want to
this
hear
day.
from
And
you
if I'm being
first.
brutally honest with you, I'll go check on my boyfriend. I'm like, do you think this number is too high? Sometimes I'm messaging Jade. I'm like, Jade, what is this? Because some people naturally have it. Like Anish and Tiff, I'm almost sure you will go back and forth and say some crazy number because you're confident in that. For me, I get like scared. Sometimes there's like a follow up email kind of going into like,
Hmm.
well, wait, I can also negotiate it down if necessary. But I do think creators should know, what are they trying to get out of the relationship with their talent manager? Should they know that be ready? Like sometimes it's not just about brand deals. Like now creators are more a personal brand. So are you looking for someone that has skills not only as a talent manager, but do they have that strategy and PR side where they can actually sell you in as more than just brand deals? Because people are kind of moving away from that. Are you able to get speaking? Do you want to do speaking engagements? Do you want to launch a new product? Like, and then also it's the whole admin piece. I think that's another piece on why people get talent managers too. It's also like the negotiation piece, sourcing through emails. Yes, you should be getting inbounds, but also as a talent manager, there should be some type of like outbound as well. And then two, I think it's just like a fresh pair of eyes. I think after a while, you look at your content, you look at your platforms, you look at what other creators are doing, you're doom scrolling, and you're kind of like, you're just fresh out of ideas. It's good to have like a partner to like bounce stuff off of because they might give you a different opinion on things. They might have insight into other creators or insight into other platforms or trends that you just don't know of. And so those are some of the things that I think people should look for as a creator, like when they're a creator, if they're seeking talent manager outside of just brand deals. Yes, that should be number one. You want to make money, yes, on both ends, but there's a larger circle, or funnel behind that as well. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. There I feel
Yeah.
like there's such a beautiful thing that you mentioned there as far as just like thinking of your manager as
Yeah.
more of like a strategic partner. And that's
Yeah.
very much what I do with Tiff. I feel like,
Yeah.
it's not to say that having not
Yeah.
having a manager means that you're not able to do a lot of that work yourself, but you shouldn't be overextending
Yeah.
yourself in
Yeah.
order to like scale. Like you
Yeah.
want to have a
100%.
business that's able to grow and be sustainable. So just in the same way, like companies would hire talent to complete certain tasks, that's what you're doing for your own
Yeah.
business and your own brand. And what I want creators to think about is like if
Yeah.
they're, ever potentially
Yeah.
considering getting a manager, it's like, what stage am I in my business? What goals am I trying to accomplish? And how can I offload some of this to help me reach those goals? That's really how you have to think about it.
Yes. Absolutely. Those everything you guys just said, retweet, retweet. And one of the things that I'll chime in and say from my perspective, because our agency is a bit unique in the way that we're not just a talent agency or not just a PR agency. We're a hybrid of the two, and from the lens of like an integrated marketing communications approach, looking at campaigns end to end and focusing on thought leadership and personal branding. And so a lot of times I'm working with, that's why I'm really loving working with more and more like creatorpreneurs and business creators, because they're business minded. And a lot of times I want to work with folks who do have, the skill sets kind of already understand a bit of the industry.
Mhm.
Not that you have to only have that experience, but it is very helpful. Just like
Yeah.
Jade being the brilliant social
Mhm.
strategist she is, and we're able to position her for speaking engagements and thinking of her monetization as not just the brand deals, but long term, what
Yeah.
does that look like for her brand?
Amen.
A lot of people may know that Jade has a goal of retiring from social media by 40. And what does that look like to go offline after you've made your bag? So we're looking like super long term in
That's
terms
good.
of like, what does this
Yeah.
online brand translate into? And so just having kind of a larger,
Girl, you are gonna
wider
be you're
view,
gonna be
and
so
visualizing
gone.
of
You're gonna
it
be so
outside of
amazing.
just the immediate monetization.
And by the way, I'm 32, so I have 8 more years to plan.
Ride in the wave.
There you go. Yeah.
I want to touch on something really quickly because obviously we're all operating in a space that's very like B2B focused, very business oriented. Anish, do you have like a lot of experience working with talent that's outside of the business space? And do you feel like there's a bit of a difference between business creators or what we would consider like more sort of lifestyle creators?
Yeah, so I'm actually seeing those two worlds come together a lot right now, especially with LinkedIn becoming as popular as it is. So I went to Cannes a couple weeks ago, and I got to meet a lot of, let's call it, your traditional influencer side of things. So like your Metas, your Snapchats,
Yeah.
your Pinterest, like TikToks, all those types of brands and creators were there. And the amount of people that are trying to figure out what's happening with LinkedIn and the
Yeah.
B2B creator economy, it's actually quite incredible. It's a really good time to
Yeah.
build on LinkedIn right now. So when it comes to like the lifestyle side of things and those brands, they are going to be making their way to LinkedIn
Yeah.
because there's a big trend on the person behind the professional.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone says, "Oh my God, look what
Yeah.
Amazon did, look what Walmart did." I'm like, individuals on those teams made decisions.
Hmm.
Somebody there made a decision. It wasn't Walmart. That's like a it's a combination of all these people. But there's actual people who've made individual decisions, and those are the folks that these brands are going to get in front of now. These are the change agents that everybody wants to get behind to be
Yeah.
like, wow, like I wonder what Jade's up to. Not the company, but Jade. What is the niche up to? Like that? There's going to be a lot of that happening now. And when you realize there's way less
Yeah.
bots, there's
Yeah.
way less competition right now. Most people are like in the professional mindset, so they're like trying to be productive. There are a few trolls here and there, but nowhere near as the other channels.
Yeah.
So from a brand safety
Yeah.
standpoint, LinkedIn's second to none. So now we're seeing a lot of the lifestyle and corporate stuff sort of come together
Hmm.
because a lot of people in corporate they make good money. They can actually afford the luxury, beauty, fashion stuff that a lot of people on those other platforms just can't just yet. So I think there's a lot where these two worlds are actually going to come together, and that's the way we need to strategize and think forward.
And to that point, I think
Yeah.
people forget that being an entrepreneur, being someone who has a cool job
Yeah.
or having a business focused kind of world is also a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
being a creatorpreneur is a lifestyle. So of course I would want to document and showcase my content going to these conferences and being able to travel and speaking. Like that
Yeah.
is part of the brand story. And it's always so interesting because oftentimes, as a social media professional, people are always like, what are your predictions for social? And of course, LinkedIn being my,
Yeah.
based on Detra right now, I feel like I'm always talking about the fact that, LinkedIn for right now is very B2B heavy, but the
Mhm.
next stage is getting lifestyle content and
You
these B2C
will.
brands over to the platform.
No,
I'm
that's
manifesting it
real.
in real time. Everybody on LinkedIn hear me. I will get this partnership with Fenty Beauty. Tiff's gonna
Oh,
help me make it happen. So stay
100%.
tuned.
Woosah.
100%. Put it out.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, like, if you are a creator watching
Yeah.
this, you're using
Yeah.
LinkedIn and you're playing in B2B space, start thinking ahead and planning for lifestyle content as well, because it's just as important as the more business oriented content that we're seeing right now.
Mhm.
Um, One of the things I love to do on this show is talk money. It is one of my favorite subjects, and that's the part of spilling the tea. People want to hear the numbers, so I want to hear from the talent managers, Anish, Tiff, or the agents, because I know you're an agent, Anish. What is a standard commission rate that creators should expect when working with a talent manager, and then what should they be getting in return for that money spent?
Yeah. So our model, we're on the premium side. We're at 20% plus a retainer. So our retainer kicks in when we earn a certain amount for the creator. And any month where we don't earn you at least 10K a month, we're not taking that retainer. We have a tiered system now. So if we make
I
you like
love it.
15K, our retainer goes up a little bit. We make you 20K. Some of our creators are making like 30, 40K so a month. So we eat when you eat type of situation. The retainer amounts go towards things like creative strategy, design work, putting in like the account strategy, account management. Like we have a whole dedicated system behind all these things. And now we're putting in even more infrastructure for things like what we call like Wishly concierge. We're building out a whole bunch of different things so that when you're going to these conferences, you're going to these events, you're speaking, you're activating, everything's coordinated for you ahead of time as well. So it goes so much more than just getting the deals. There's a lot of work that goes into nurturing relationships on your behalf, going in for the renewals, strategic planning, fractional CRO, GM work.
Yeah.
All those things is what you get when you join our camp. But overall, what I've heard in market is 20% is usually the cut for deals
Yeah, that's what I've
at
been
at
hearing.
the bare minimum. Like you should be at least be getting deals at the 20%. If you're getting more than that in services, then there might be different things that you can charge for there.
Yeah. What about you, Tiff? What's your wave in?
No.
No, we can't hear you, Tiff.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Well,
Yeah.
while Tiff is getting her mic situated,
Yeah.
Jasmine,
Oh,
in your
Tiff, are you back?
experiences with your managers, like how did you kind of weigh the cost of
Oh,
paying
no,
a
no, no. You go
commission or
ahead
a
and I can
flat
go
rate
after.
against the like actual value that you felt your manager would bring
You're
to the table?
fine.
Yeah, so you can take the floor if you had something you want to jump in and say. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
Um, I am really actually excited to hear that Anish and I have a similar approach, because I know that there are a lot of agencies out there that kind of typically just do the commission fee, like maybe like a 20, around a 20% or so, which is pretty standard.
Mhm.
But we also offer a more premium service. As I mentioned before, we are rooted in PR and brand strategy. So
Mhm.
we're doing like ongoing pitching. It's kind of an all in one package, depending on who the creator is, what your goals are. We kind of put together specialized customization of PR pitching, strategy sessions, media training, negotiation, of course, all the standard things for making sure that deals move along. But then on top of that, we're doing a lot of visibility planning. So the premium nature just comes from having everything from a manager, but also a publicist, kind of all in one, guiding you, making sure
Mhm.
that you're getting like podcast opportunities, speaking engagements. We submit for awards. Jayde was recently named a finalist for the Women in Content Marketing Awards. Everybody, please
Let's
clap.
go.
Freelance excellence, we love to see it. So
So,
a lot of that goes into it because we're thinking about, to use Jade's brand as an example, the again, like the multifaceted nature of the fact that she is a social strategist and what that looks like, and amplifying that side of her brand for thought leadership, but also that she's a creator and what that looks like for like
Yeah.
monetization. So we have a sliding scale. In short, our sliding scale is
Yeah.
the retainer. That is a monthly rate. I love the way you do it, Anish. I feel like that's really, really, really cool, and more people need to like know about something like that. I think that's super dope what you're doing. Ours
Appreciate
is like dependent on where you are in your journey,
it.
and if you are paying, if you're like on the higher end, which means we
That
kind of do
sounds.
it more like by your largest account,
Mhm.
then we will do
Yeah.
a smaller agency fee. So we have a sliding scale for that.
Got it. Makes sense.
and I think there's beauty in like kind of hearing this
Yeah.
from two different agencies, because it's like you'll get to
Yeah.
see the plethora of opportunities so that you don't feel like you have to fit into this kind of like one size model that may not work for every creator. So for creators listening, just know that you have options. There's plenty of ways for you to engage a manager that will make sense for the capacity that you have financially, and just also
So I've also kind
the
of I've
output
never
that
had
you
to do a
desire in
retainer.
mind.
I am familiar
Jazz,
with
going
friends
back
I've
to
had
the
to do that. The
question, how
lowest that
were
I've
you
had to
kind
pay
of
out is
weighing
10%, highest being
your
like
investment
20,
when you
twenty five
started
percent which is pretty
working with
typical.
managers?
For me, I try to look at it like this, where I know there's a piece of you're managing my inbox and I'm bringing a certain number of inbounds. Ultimately, when you have a talent manager, you should be having some sort of inbounds coming in and not 100% relying on the talent manager. I think for me, where it makes sense is I shouldn't be my inbounds shouldn't outweigh the outbounds, if that makes sense. Where in a lot of situations, it's been kind of like very heavily reliant. We were just talking about this, Jade. Very heavy reliant on my inbounds, inbounds, inbounds. But then it was like when conversations try to happen as far as what's going on with outbounds, it was like zero. And other horror stories that I've had, where it's kind of like, let's take the inbounds that you have and give it to other creators. That has happened to me, and it's been a very wild story. No, it is the wildest, crazy thing ever, but it's real. It's happened. So for me, and then on top of that, it's negotiation. I have had some talent managers where
That's
they've thrown out some crazy
crazy.
numbers that I would never, I would probably be very scared
Ooh.
to, but in the end, it has worked out. And then to the strategy piece, I keep going back to the
Wow.
strategy piece because though my work, my day-to-day work is social listening and strategy, and that's what I do for brands. Sometimes I'm just so tired at the end of the day when it comes down from me creating my own content. I'm doom scrolling, I'm looking at what other creators are doing. Like my brain is just like, like I can't do that. So having that fresh perspective where it's like, hey, I just saw this or I just heard this at Cannes, like just offering that fresh perspective to make sense for me. Um, as far as like me paying that retainer or me paying that 20 or 25%.
Right.
Let me just say, Jazz, that point is very
It's like,
relatable about being scared, because
but
it's
we
literally
need
just
people like Tiff and Anish. Like we need
Tiff.
people like you
Tiff
guys.
threw down a number to
Yes.
a brand, and I called her. I was like, "Can we talk about this?"
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Because that's how you're
yeah,
gonna retire at
yeah,
40.
10 toes down, yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the yeah, that's the
Yeah.
type of like the
Yeah.
advocacy that you need to have on your team, because we're
Yeah.
quite
That's
literally,
right. That's right.
quite
Yeah.
literally, because we're so
I
tied to the work emotionally that
100%.
our
You have to
own
be a little
fears
delulu,
and
a little
just like
delusional. Not all
uncertainty
the
will get
time,
in the
but like
way, and
if you
that's
know your worth in
why
a moment,
that
like
outside
just
perspective is so
sometimes I say just
important,
shoot your
and
shot
being
and see
able
where
to
it
have
lands.
someone
The worst they can say
to
is
get
no.
you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Nice
well,
healthy amount.
and
Hmm.
yeah,
Right.
the reality
Yeah.
is it's a psychological, it's like a negotiation tactic. You anchor high. You
Yeah.
just do, right?
100%.
And the reality is like where Jade was 6 months ago, even you've exploded. Like so if you're still
100%.
using your rates from before, but you've now made it to like let's call it let's say overnight you
Yeah.
went onto the time 100.
Hmm.
That's gonna be worth something, folks. So things change overnight. Things change after a month or so,
Yeah, I'm
2 months, and then
sure.
you have to accommodate for that
Well,
and your clout,
yes.
your influence, your ability to get more
No,
attention.
absolutely
So
not.
I I'm all about the
Mhm.
higher rates, folks.
Yeah,
This is
yesterday's
what we're known
price is
for.
not
What we're
today's
known for.
price.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Nope.
Should have signed up yesterday.
That
Sorry.
part. But
Yeah.
before we move into the next question, I want to give the audience a heads up. We're going to enter into our Q&A portion very soon. So start readying your questions for anything that you want our panelists to answer. All right, let's get back into the flow. So I want to hear from you all. Like, what's something, just
You
knowing
want
that
to
we're
go
still
ahead
on
for
theme, what's something about the industry that, like, still shocks you to this day? Knowing that we've been in this game for a long time, what's something that you feel like is like, wow, I can't believe this is still happening? Go ahead.
Let me get my scroll. Um, no, but
yeah,
the one thing that just came to my mind out of nowhere is just the fact that
yeah,
well, in general, a lot of creators are just still being like so undervalued, just kind of speaking of what we were just talking about, yesterday's price is not today's price. And there's a lot of brands that have like outdated ways of thinking, and my agency is actually really focused right now in having a lot more advocacy, because we do work with brands and
yeah,
we represent brands as well, and our goal is to bridge the gap between brands and creators. And so we're always,
yeah,
we like to work with brands who value creators, but a lot of times there is kind of like an educational piece to it as well. When brands are like, we want to work with creators, like, don't we all? But there's a certain way to go about it. And
yeah,
I still get the ick when I see certain brands who want to do
yeah,
collaborations and they're offering commissions, or like just these like weird payout models that basically just aren't paying the creator up
yeah,
front and basically making it all performance based and all vanity metrics based, where we are really focused on working with brands that value
yeah,
creators and understand that there's alignment in like messaging and audience and looking at long-term growth. So that's just
yeah,
something that I feel like some of
yeah,
these businesses can be like really outdated
yeah.
in how they do that.
That's
And
wild.
stop asking creators to make like 5 to 10 videos for like $200.
Yeah,
That's crazy, and people need to stop accepting those because
Yeah,
I'm
especially.
it's making
I'm
a
getting
weird
upset just
standard.
hearing it. They
Ick.
get me
That's my
angry.
creator. That's my ick. Industry
Yeah.
ick.
Uh, I'm shocked that so many brands will send offers to creators like, do this one post, we'll give you whatever, thousand
yeah,
bucks, $500, $1,500, whatever.
hmm,
You give us yes or no. Here's a script. Go nuts. And I'm like, this is the most transactional thing. Like,
yeah,
they don't need to meet with the creator. Some creators are
yeah,
just
Oh,
everything's over email,
yeah,
yeah.
or there's like some marketplaces that make that happen. And I'm just like, is there
Mm-hmm.
no dialogue between
yeah,
the brand and the creator to
Yeah.
protect the audience, to protect the creator, to protect the brand? Like,
yeah,
what if the brand gets on the phone? It's like, oh, you know
yeah,
what, Anish, you're not it. Thank you. Like, it's all
yeah,
good. Like,
yeah,
there's no do like when you take a brand deal and do it with zero
yeah,
due diligence,
yeah,
it's the most transactional thing in the world,
yeah.
and it
Mm-hmm.
hurts everybody. It
Yeah.
kills the entire category. So I still can't believe that's happening. Pisses me off, but it is what it is.
Can I piggyback off of that real quick
Mhm.
too while it's in my mind? Um, that's one major benefit I will go ahead and say about like working with myself or a niche, or any talent manager really, is that when you're having somebody who's managing those relationships for you, we are staying in touch with a lot of these brands that do things right, and a lot of them come back and want to continuously work with you throughout the year for different
Yeah.
campaigns, and they know your creators. Like, Niche works with a ton of really great talent, and
Hmm.
these brands start to know the agency and understand, like,
Yeah.
the three C's and the credibility and all that of like these
Yeah.
creators and this talent. So it makes it easier to keep aligning with brands that get it
Yeah.
and keep working with
Yeah.
brands that do have
I'll
those
say
deep relationships,
my
because we're
I
checking
have
in with
two.
them, we're building
My
relationship,
first
they know
one,
us,
my
they know the
first one
creators.
is
So that's just
is
like a
actually really
huge
wild.
benefit of working with
Is
talent
I have to
managers.
ask this on intake calls is have you
Yes,
ever
let's
worked with
do
black and
it.
brown creators? And have you ever
I was
worked with
calling it.
LinkedIn creators? And the reason why I say this is because I've had many experiences where they, you have to know the nuances of working with certain black creators. Like for me, like one of the my brands that I would love to
Oh,
work with, I
yeah.
still would love to work with to this day is Pattern Beauty. And I've worked with agencies where they don't know what key soul care is. They don't know what Pattern Beauty is. And so you have to ask those questions because the way that you pitch us, the way that you talk about us, our content, our strategy is very different than other creators. It's not discrimination, but you just have to know those nuances. So I think that's crazy that I still do have to ask those questions and I'll ask them to elaborate. And it's very like, yeah, well, and I'm like, oh no, like it's not. It's I'm like,
Yeah.
you really haven't, or you really don't understand the nuances. My second ick is I hate when you just send a brand like an offer and they ghost you. Just tell me you're not interested.
Oh
Just
no.
tell me it was too high. Tell me it was, and then you reached out to me. You are interested in me. You want to know my rate. You're like, hey, we really want to work with you. The brand really wants to work with you. Just
Oh,
tell me you're not interested. Then I look crazy because I'm following up with you 6, 7 emails deep in. Then I have my mail track on, so I see that you're reading it. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's wild. It's
So
wild.
disrespectful.
Right. Right. It's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Have a template or something. Like we'll keep you in mind. Like it's very simple. Get a workflow.
It comes down to respect, and the people need
Yeah.
to realize that creators talk, right? Like
Ooh, you
Right.
took the
I
words out
have
of my
brands,
mouth, Anish.
that we will. They're on like no fly list. Like people ask me like, "Hey, Niche, should I work with this brand?" I'm like, absolutely not. Run away. You may as well have been scammed. Like, and people are
Mm-mm.
beginning to trust, like
Mm-mm.
like
Mm-mm.
as these agencies and
Yep.
creators get bigger, right? Like, it's funny how many people ghosted me before, and now they're calling. They're like, "Oh, Anish, we heard about." No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are over,
Yep.
yeah.
right? Like,
Yep.
so it's just interesting to see how people don't realize where
Yes.
you're doing something on social media.
Yep.
It's in the title,
Right
social.
there. Mm-hmm. You
We are
see it.
going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we just spent 10 minutes talking about Love Island before we went live, folks.
We
Like,
did.
we talk about this stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just
100%.
very interesting to me that people don't catch that.
Yes.
$100%.
It
As
really,
soon
really
as a brand
Yeah.
boggles
does
my mind.
something like off or something weird goes down, literally
Mm-mm.
we're in our
Every
text
time.
like, "Hey, you worked with them,
Yeah,
right? Or did
everybody
you?"
finds out right away. It's game over, right?
Everybody.
Immediately.
Yeah, so.
100%.
Streets are talking.
Always.
Brands.
We're spilling the tea on live currently. So
In real life and in real life.
in real life. All right. So I want to move over to the comment section because we have a few questions that have come
Mhm.
in. First up, we have a question from Caleb H. How are talent managers paid? Is it solely on a percentage from the brand deal offer, or does the creator pay a retainer or something? We kind of alluded to this earlier. So does anyone want to kind of recap really quickly? Tiff, Anish, who wants to take it?
So if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. We so basically we work on Anish and I. Our agencies work on retainer models and also like take an agency fee off of paid brand deals secured. Not everybody works off a model
Yeah.
like that. I've heard of some agencies that do just kind of just the percentage model. But I do like that we were able to note in this live that both Anish and I do have premium services that kind of that's baked into that retainer rate. So you're getting everything from design, media, training, PR, like all types of things that kind of help build your brand from like a 360 point of view
Mhm.
that goes outside of just transactional securing brand deals. It retains our time. It allows us to like get really deep into the work. So I'm a big fan of it. My agency has like a model that's kind of a sliding scale. Anisha's has a really, really wonderful model. Did you want to explain that again, Anisha? I don't want to
Yeah,
butcher
sure.
that.
So I have a tiered retainer
Yeah.
based off of minimum amounts earned per month. So in one month, if we bring you like 10K, we have a certain
Yeah.
retainer. If we in the next month we bring you 15, we earn a little bit more. The reality is, the more money you make, the more there is to manage and handle and strategize for and forecast for and
Right.
build around you. There's systems that go into all this behind the scenes that Tiff, myself, and every talent manager out there, we like when I meet other talent managers, I don't see them as competition. We hug.
Yes.
Tiff and I have never seen each other as competition ever. We're
Yeah.
like, you deal with talent, I deal with talent, and we hugged it. That was our first time meeting,
I would.
Literally,
right?
best
So
instant best
we
friends.
became best friends. We
Yeah.
text. We're like, people will be like, oh hey, like I sent her business
Yep.
from Cannes.
Mhm.
Like,
Hmm.
so my point here is that when you realize how much work goes into it behind the scenes, the retainers, it's like a way to sustain the system, right? And I know some talent managers that don't offer those services and they go straight into the commission only model, and power to them. Um,
Yeah.
they end up getting asked to do all the extra stuff, and then they burn out, or
Mhm.
their business becomes very margin heavy. Then they're forced to make transactional decisions that's not in your best interest.
Yeah.
So you just need to keep that in mind with what you're looking for and what you're getting, Caleb.
Hmm.
Thank you. And then we have another question, and I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly, I think it's
Mm.
Nketi Thipe.
I think it's
Do
a little
you
bit of both. I
feel
think there's
like there's
this,
a growing
this
societal
lingering of, and you
pressure
talk
for
about it,
everyone
Jade,
to
the
have a
difference between a
public
creator, an
presence
influencer, a
or
UGC
eventually be
creator,
a
like this
creator in some
definition
way?
keeps lingering around. I think
Jayde?
people nowadays, if we think about the economy that we're in, people are very pressed to make money. And I think that influencers in some form of fashion, we've done this in the past, we've made it look like it's so easy. You see it now, you log in, here are easy ways that you can go ahead and make, but let's be honest, I didn't really start monetizing my content, like really like could quit my job, pay my bills, go on a beautiful trip until like the third second year. Some people have been a little bit more lucky than that. And so I think that people are making it seem like that yes, you have to have a public presence, but now it's kind of changed a little bit. You can be a UGC creator and have 100 followers and be on a retainer with the company, and you can make really great content. You can be a creator or influencer where you might be just doing that as a side hustle, or you can do that full time. But I do feel like society has made it a little bit of a, has added some pressure where you have to be public, you have to share your life. And you can see that a lot of people are burned out. A lot of creators have gone back to their 9 to 5s now, right? Or like for me, I work a 9 to 5 and I've been a creator on the side. Sorry, my grandmother's clock is going off. But there is that pressure to feel like you have to always you have to be, online. And to all the creators out there, you don't. I was just telling Jade, like, I just took 2 months off, and it was the hardest 2 months ever because I was like, my email is
That's awesome.
dry. I don't have any inbounds. I didn't create any content. And I'm like, but Jazz, it's gonna come back. You've done it before. So you have to take that time off. And we have that pressure. Like for me, I'm like, I'm missing out. I'm missing out on brand deals. I'm watching everybody else get it. But that time off for me is that time for me to get my clarity back together, and eventually I can bounce back in Q3 and
Mm-hmm.
Q4. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And
It's
I think
not.
too, one
It's
of the things
not.
I often
It's
see
not.
is that being a
It's not.
creator almost becomes this like band-aid solution to all your financial
Yeah.
problems. And I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Don't
That is
waste your time. Don't waste
okay.
your time, y'all.
Don't
Yeah.
don't do that. If you're
No.
going to be a creator,
Yep.
it has to be because you actually love creating. Like it can't just be this job
Yeah.
that you
It's
think is
hard.
cool to have because it's
Yeah.
a tough job.
Yep.
Constantly having to put yourself out there, be in public. Even if you have a faceless Instagram account, just being online is hard. That
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
and
very
it's
taxing.
very hard
Very
work.
taxing.
And I think
Yeah.
there's something to be said about
Yeah.
using your creativity to build a very like public
Yep.
persona. There's so many beautiful benefits that come with
Yeah.
it, and it's such a great world to be a part of. It can also be strenuous and a
Yeah.
lot of emotional labor and
Mm-hmm.
spiritual labor, and it can be a very tough job. So while it may look easy, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily the
Yeah.
job to have. But I do think on the flip
Yeah.
side of that, there is a beautiful part
Yeah.
of being a creatorpreneur that
Yeah.
allows you
I
to
tell people all the
kind of
time,
build
don't
your life
create
in the
content
way
to
that
make
you want
money, create
to.
content
You
because
can have
it's
a nine
something
to
that you
five
love to
and
do. The
also
moment that you
still
try
be
to
a
create
creator.
content to make
You can
money,
do
you
full
will
time
never make money off of
creation,
it.
whatever way it needs to
You're
work for
you're
you
going to
to make
literally hate
sense
it.
for
If you
you.
do it because
Mm-hmm.
you're passionate or you're creating content that you're passionate about, 100% it will always, always, always work out.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what people are paying you for is the excitement. It's the
Yeah.
enthusiasm. At the moment I
100%.
feel like it's dead, people aren't stupid. They'll look at you and be like, "You're not a good actor. You're not an actor. You're a creator, not an actor." Right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're the authentic enthusiasm is a really big thing. It
Yep.
drives intention. 100%.
We were talking about like at what point do you want
Right.
to
Yep.
invest in having a talent manager and like when do you think you're ready? And you definitely got to figure out that part before you go ahead and try to hire a talent manager when you're
Yep.
not even sure if you like creating or if you're just trying to create for money but there's not really like an intention behind it, then you can't really take it to the next level. Like you got to have that foundation. You that's that kind of like
Nope.
vision and the goals for yourself, the inner work
No.
that you have to kind of do before you then outsource help.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and no talent manager
Yeah.
worth their soul is gonna bring on a subpar creator. It's just not.
Yeah.
Period.
So it's
Respectfully.
just what
Yeah,
it is.
no,
Like
it
we have
won't.
limited time. So we're looking at your
Respectfully.
content before we sign you, right? And if the content's off, like we're gonna respectfully tell you, hey, you got to improve this before you come back, before we can monetize you.
100%. I love that.
Respectfully, respectfully.
Respectfully.
100%. So we have another question. This one is
I,
from
I feel like I
Angela
semi
Campaign.
did.
Hey,
And I would
Angel
say like
girl,
last
do you
December, I
feel
made the
like
most
you
money that I ever did
had
in a month. I
your
was tired. I
I
was
made it
exhausted. I had
moment
so many
in your
brand deals. It
career
was
yet?
Christmas time. I was
I love
working
that
full time. I was
question.
crying
Might
every
be
day to my
close.
boyfriend. But I was like, when I
Mhm.
I had to create like a board in my office of like all the brand deals that I had, and I was like looking at it one day, and I was like, damn, like wow, okay. Like, so I say I semi did it in, and being able to be on LinkedIn, full time to create content and being able this first Q1, all my brand deals were
Yes.
from LinkedIn.
Yes,
Nothing came from
guys.
like Instagram and TikTok. And I was like, whoa. And that was more so my aha moment that I can shift from being the type of creator that I was to being something else, which I think is something that a lot of people are afraid of and are scared to do, like shifting with as your life moves, as you're growing pains, as you become a different person, shifting your content to do that. So, yeah. Thanks, girl. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Man, congratulations to you, Jazz, because that's a really exciting aha moment.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool. Yes, I think for me, I've had my fair share of, I guess like accomplishments or cool things that have like happened in my career and business. But as a business owner, I think the little aha moments that have happened kind of throughout the years are just
Mhm.
things like getting closer to my purpose and feeling like really aligned in my work, getting really great clients that I'm, like I said, I'm having fun with, or I feel like are
Yeah.
a good reflection of like my values. I had a lot of early work where I just wasn't gelling with it. A lot of times when you're starting a business, you just got to kind of start somewhere. And I was like, I was unhappy. It was kind of reminding me like I was still in corporate again in some ways. So once I kind of shifted and got really like a little bit like niche down in my business, focusing more on the creator economy and culture and getting to amplify Black voices that I really believe in. I feel like I had a couple aha moments like where I was like, damn, this is like really my life. This is really my job. And other people like seeing that and kind of seeing the vision
Yeah.
and understanding me, understanding my business and speaking on it in a way where I'm like, okay,
You
it's
go,
sinking in
Tiff.
like 5 years in, and I can have people go advocate for me and speak on me the way that I feel like I see myself. So it took some time to get here, but I feel like feeling good about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Thanks.
say I had like I've made it moment. Like I've made it. It's done. I think this is just the beginning.
Mhm.
The parts I do love about my job, though, like
I
my
love
clients
that.
call it the niche smile, and
Oh,
what that is like I make sure to call my clients every time I get an offer for them. I don't text it. I don't email it. I call them, and
I
they
like
know when
that.
the phone rings, the
You will
smile
call with a
comes.
brand deal.
I swear to God, this is a true story. One of my creators, his wife legit thought he was cheating on her because of the number of times this phone rang, and the smile was up. I
I'm
swear to God, I swear to God, I
dead.
swear to God. So the knee smile's
Yeah.
actually gotten some people in trouble. Uh, but but
You're
but but then
Anisha?
killing me.
but then they meet
Stop it.
me,
You had
they're
me.
always legit, cool. It's just me. Promise, it's real. It's not a niche. It's a niche. Hey, right?
Yeah.
Not a fake
Uh,
name. Woo.
but the feeling I get when some of my clients have like retired,
Yeah.
their partner. Some of my clients have bought a dream vacation home in
Yeah.
Costa Rica, and then they text me saying,
You're doing
"Anish, this
something
would not
right.
have been possible without you." That gets me in the feels. I know it sounds like it's like cliche and stuff, but like that is
Hmm.
truly like
Yeah.
I was put here for this purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that feels really really good when you see like all jokes
Yeah.
aside, when you see other people
I love
transform
that.
because
That
of a
was
little thing
beautiful.
you did. That gives you the fuel to work the 18-hour days
I was
and
going to ask you the
hopefully
same
one day get
question.
your own I made it moment, right?
yeah.
That's what it is. So
Beautiful.
Well said.
That's very well
yeah.
said. I want to answer the question too because when I
Hell
saw it,
yeah.
I was like, ooh,
Oh yeah, we're gonna ask you.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like, yes, I have made it, but to me, that's not necessarily associated with like the money I've made. It's just with the joy that I now have in the space of my life, joy has always been my currency. Like, how am I able to wake up every morning and feel super thrilled and excited about the work that I'm
Mhm.
doing and how I'm like showing up in this world. And I feel so overjoyed with just where I am in my life. But I think to Anisha's point, like I know that there's a lot more for me and there's more to come. So I'm still thinking in
Absolutely.
the back of my head,
Absolutely.
like, what are the next steps? But I think a practice that I've really had to get into to just make sure I'm really appreciating the moment is celebrating
Mhm.
all of my small wins along the way
Yes.
and my big wins. And, I'm very grateful to my therapist for keeping me in check. That's a practice that I've gotten into because of
Yeah.
her. But I think, when you are a
Yeah.
business owner, a creator, a manager, whatever type of entrepreneur you are, it's very, because you're so close to the work, it's very hard to kind of have this larger view and larger lens on everything that you've accomplished. So I've really had to make it a habit to say, like, okay, Jade, look
Yeah.
at these past 3 months at like what you did. And
Yeah.
then that
Yeah.
allows me to have the moment to be like, well, damn girl, you're doing what 18-year-old girl Jade always wanted.
Yeah.
And
Love
it
that.
You're
takes
her
Love
wildest dreams.
exactly. And it's a very
Yeah.
special moment for me to kind of just celebrate myself and that remember that like everything I've been doing so far, including
Yeah.
you know,
And people are
working in that
inspired by
terrible
you.
corporate phase of my life wasn't in vain.
They're very
So, yes,
inspired.
I definitely feel like I'm here, but I'm also excited for what's to come in these next
Mhm.
couple of years.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Heavy on celebrating those wins.
Thank you.
They
Yeah.
are, and I have to remind Jade. Another hat that we wear as talent managers is just being like your biggest cheerleader,
Yeah.
your hype girl, and we are very critical of ourselves sometimes. And I have to give Jade these reminders
Yeah.
of like, do you remember what we said we wanted to do
Yeah.
just like a
Look
couple
at look at
months
what you've
ago?
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at what you've done. Look at where we are. So just having that support system, whether it's a talent manager, whether it's just having creators in your circle, like how we can all text each other and ask questions because we be talking.
Mhm.
It's great to be able to have that type of
Thank you.
community while you're doing this work.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, we don't have any more time for questions, y'all, but I wanted to thank my panelists, Tiff, Anish, Jazz. Thank you so much for coming. Like, I just knew this episode was going to eat so bad as soon as I confirmed y'all. So I'm just so happy that I can have you. Like, I can't wait for the replay to go live. But thank you so much for coming. For anyone who's interested or wasn't able to make it, the replay of this episode will go live on YouTube and sometime between now and next week, whenever I get the moment, but it will be live soon. And then for notifications on future episodes, you can just subscribe to my newsletter at creatorttalk.com. And I always post about the events that I'm hosting, as well as creator opportunities, job opportunities, news, and literally anything relating to the creator economy. And then I will also say, just make sure if you had any moments that you wanted to share about this episode or post about, just
Bye.
use the hashtag Creator Tea Talk hashtag. But thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure having you, and we will see you next month for the next episode. Ciao, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Jade.
Thank you.